Now today we will start with s block elements. What are s block elements? In which last electron enters into the s orbital. Since only 2 electrons can enter into the s orbital, so we have 2 groups in s block, group 1 and group 2. Now what is group 1? Group 1 is alkali metals. It has lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium and cesium. What about the electronic configuration? General electronic configuration is NS1. Because there is only one electron here, so we will say that they can show oxidation state +1. Now what about the atomic radius? As we move down the group, atomic radius will increase, and since group 1 elements, it is the first group of the periodic table, and as we move from left to right, effective nuclear charge increases, so size decreases. Alkali metals have the biggest size in the periodic table. Now what about the ionization energy? Since the size is big, so ionization energy would be small, so that means they can show photoelectric effect. Photoelectric effect is shown by those elements which have low ionization energy. And what is photoelectric effect? When light will fall on the surface of the metal, electron would be emitted, and if the electron is emitted easily, that is if it has low ionization energy, so it can show photoelectric effect. So that means cesium is the element which has the lowest ionization energy, so it can be used in photoelectric cells. Now what is the next factor which we have to study is hydration enthalpy. Now what is hydration enthalpy? When we put an ion in aqueous solution, it gets surrounded by water molecules, and jitni zyada positive charge density hogi, the more number of water molecules it will attract towards itself. Now smaller the size of ion, higher would be the positive field around it, and so higher would be the hydration enthalpy that would be released. So what would be the order of hydration enthalpy? Hydration enthalpy in gaseous phase. Gaseous phase, smaller the size, more water molecules, so that means lithium plus followed by sodium plus, potassium plus, rubidium plus and cesium plus. So this is the order in gas phase. Now in aqueous phase, what happens is that lithium would not have the smallest size, because in aqueous phase lithium would be surrounded by, being small in size, it would be heavily hydrated. So now if we talk about the mobility of ions in aqueous phase. So if I talk about the mobility of ion in gas phase, this is my order, because in gas phase lithium is the smallest in size. But when I talk about the mobility of ions in aqueous phase, now lithium is heavily hydrated, तो lithium का size सबसे ज़्यादा बड़ा हो गया. So obviously lithium ion cannot move as fast as cesium ion would move. So my order would be now reverse. It would be like this. So now highest mobility would be for cesium ion. Now my next factor is the metallic character. Now what is a metal? A substance which can lose electron and form positive ion is known as a metal. Now what happens is that down the group ionization energy is decreasing. That means cesium can easily lose the electron. So what does this mean? That cesium ion will show the maximum metallic character. So metallic character, we will say that it increases down the group. Now what is the next factor? Now we have to study the melting point and boiling point of alkali metals. Now since alkali metals have weak metallic bonds as compared to the other elements, why? Because they have only one valence electron, and lesser the number of unpaired electrons, weaker would be the metallic bonding. So, that means alkali metals, they are very soft metals. That is why we can cut potassium and sodium with knife, they are very soft metals, and that is why they have low melting and boiling point due to the presence of one valence electron. The metallic bonding in them is weak. Now, let us understand the compound formation in these alkali metals. Now, they can form ionic compounds. Why? Because they can easily lose this one electron. They have low ionization energy, they have one valence electron, and if they lose this valence electron, they can acquire the noble gas configuration. So, that means alkali metals, they form ionic compounds. Now, let us understand that they impart color to the flame. Alkali metals impart color to the flame. Why do they impart color to the flame, and which color do they impart? Now, lithium imparts pink color, sodium imparts yellow color to the flame, and potassium imparts violet color to the flame. Now, why do they impart these colors to the flame? Now, what happens is the alkali metal salt, and we put it on a platinum wire, we put it in the Bunsen flame. Now, what happens is we get that pink color in case of lithium, yellow color in case of sodium, and violet color in case of potassium. What happens is the flame excites the electrons to the higher energy levels, and when they return back, they emit light which falls in the visible region, and that is why they impart color to the flame. Now, let us understand the chemical reactivity of these alkali metals. Now, since I told you, because of their bigger size, they have low ionization energy, and since they have low ionization energy, so that means they can easily lose electrons, and if they can easily lose electrons, they can easily form cation. So, that means they are very reactive, and since they are reactive, they do not occur free in nature. They always exist in form of their oxides or any other combined state, but not free in nature because they are highly reactive. Now, let us understand the reducing character of alkali metals. Now, why alkali metals? They are strong reducing agents because they have low ionization energy and they can easily lose electrons. So, that means now we will understand that this reducing character depends on which factors. Reducing character depends on the electrode potential, and they have very high negative electrode potentials, but we will understand that what does this electrode potential depend on. So, electrode potential depends on, it depends on sublimation enthalpy, it depends on hydration enthalpy, and it also depends on ionization enthalpy. Now, if we have to understand what is the trend, which is the strongest reducing agent amongst alkali metals. Now, if I look at the ionization enthalpy, then I would say that lithium should be the weakest reducing agent. But now, what is the case? The case is that lithium is the strongest reducing agent, followed by cesium, rubidium, potassium and sodium. Now, what is the reason for this trend, that why lithium is the strongest reducing agent? Now, although lithium has very high ionization enthalpy, but it also has very high hydration enthalpy, and sublimation enthalpy is almost constant for all alkali metals. So, what is going to make the difference? That the high hydration enthalpy which is released because of the small size of lithium, it compensates for the high ionization enthalpy, and that is why lithium is the strongest reducing agent. So, what is the reason? that high hydration enthalpy compensates the high ionization enthalpy, and that is why lithium is the strongest reducing agent. Now let us understand the reactivity of these alkali metals towards the oxygen. How will they react with oxygen? Now suppose I take the example of lithium. Lithium reacts with oxygen, it will form Li2O. This is oxide. If I take the example of sodium, it will react with oxygen to form Na2O2, and this is peroxide. And if I take the example of potassium, it reacts with O2 to form KO2, and this is superoxide. Now, why is this happening? That lithium is forming oxide, sodium is forming peroxide, and potassium is forming superoxide. Now we will understand the stabilization by lattice energy, that is small cation is stabilized by small anion and large cation is stabilized by large anion. Now since lithium is very small, it can be stabilized by the small oxide ion, whereas sodium is bigger in size, it would be stabilized by bigger peroxide ion, and potassium, rubidium and cesium, they being the biggest in size, they can be stabilized only by large superoxide ion. So we will understand this on the basis of stabilization through lattice energy effect, because smaller the cation, smaller the anion, higher would be the lattice energy released. Larger the cation, larger the anion, they will pack tightly, and higher would be the lattice energy released and higher would be the stability. Now reactivity towards air and moisture. Now since alkali metals, they are very reactive towards air and moisture, you must have heard that sodium is kept in kerosene oil. Now since they are very reactive towards air and moisture, so they are kept in kerosene oil or other inert solvents in order to protect them from getting reacted, because if it reacts with water they will form hydroxide, if they react with air they will form oxide, and if they react with, and if the hydroxide further reacts with carbon dioxide, it will form carbonate. Now let us come to very important factor, that is solutions of alkali metals in liquid ammonia. Now what happens is that when alkali metals are dissolved in liquid ammonia, we get a very strongly conducting solution which is blue in color and which is paramagnetic. And this solution is conducting in nature. Now why does it conduct electricity? From where does this blue color come, and why is it paramagnetic? Now what happens is when alkali metals, when they are dissolved in liquid ammonia, we get ammoniated electrons and ammoniated cation. Now this is ammoniated cation and this is ammoniated electrons. Now what happens is these ammoniated electrons, they get excited to higher energy levels. They absorb light which corresponds to the red color, and when they return back to the ground state from the excited energy level, they emit light which is blue in color. So that means they are absorbing red color and they are transmitting blue color. That is why they are blue in color. And what is absorbing color? These ammoniated electrons are absorbing color and they are emitting blue light. And since they are unpaired, the solution is paramagnetic in nature, and because of the presence of these unpaired electrons, it is also electrically conducting in nature. Now what happens on increasing the concentration of these solutions beyond 3 molar? Pehle they were blue in color, now they become copper bronze in color. Copper bronze in color, why? Due to the formation of metal ion clusters. Metal ion clusters are formed, because of which they become copper bronze in color, and now because of the formation of metal ion clusters, now the solution becomes diamagnetic in nature. So the solution which was initially blue, which was initially paramagnetic, after the formation of metal ion clusters, now it has become copper bronze in color, and now it has become diamagnetic. Now let us understand the basicity of hydroxides of these alkali metals. Now we all know that metals, they form basic oxides and basic hydroxides. So what does this mean? That if the metallic character is increasing, the basicity will automatically increase. So if I say lithium hydroxide, sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, rubidium hydroxide and cesium hydroxide, what is happening down the group? Down the group metallic character is increasing. So if metallic character is increasing down the group, metallic character increases, so automatically the basicity will increase. So down the group basicity of these hydroxides is increasing. Now let us understand the diagonal relationship between lithium and magnesium. Now why lithium is showing a diagonal relationship with magnesium? Because of the same charge by radius ratio, lithium is showing diagonal relationship with magnesium. Now lithium is the first element of alkali metal and magnesium belongs to the alkaline earth metals. Now lithium is showing certain properties which the other members of the group are not showing because of the absence of vacant d orbitals in lithium, small size of lithium, and because of the high ionization energy and high electronegativity of lithium. Now what is lithium doing? Lithium is forming a nitride Li3n, and magnesium is also forming a nitride, that is Mg3n2. Other alkali metals, they are not forming nitride. Then lithium chloride is deliquescent, that is it is hydrated. Similarly, magnesium chloride is also hydrated and it has 6 water molecules, and no other alkali metal is hydrated. Now what happens is, when we heat lithium carbonate is unstable and it gives Li2O plus CO2. Similarly, when I heat magnesium carbonate, again I get magnesium oxide plus CO2. So like lithium carbonate, magnesium carbonate is also unstable towards heat. Now let me explain what happens when lithium nitrate is heated. I get lithium oxide plus NO2 plus O2. When I heat magnesium nitrate, what am I getting? I am getting magnesium oxide plus NO2 plus O2. Now what is the anomalous behavior of lithium here? That unlike other alkali metals, now if I heat sodium nitrate, what will happen? When I heat sodium nitrate, I will not get oxide and NO2. I will get NaNO2 and O2. So that means lithium being the first element, it shows anomalous behavior, and lithium also shows diagonal relationship with magnesium. Now we will study the Solvay process for the formation of sodium carbonate. Now let us understand the Solvay process for the formation of sodium carbonate dot 10H2O, that is washing soda. Now what happens is that in Solvay process, ammonia is passed through brine solution and what we get is we get NaHCO3. Now why this NaHCO3 gets precipitated from the solution? Because it has a low solubility product. It has a low solubility product, so it gets precipitated from the solution, and when we heat this sodium bicarbonate, what we get is we get sodium carbonate plus H2O plus CO2. So this is how we get washing soda. Now if we want to prepare potassium carbonate by Solvay process, we cannot prepare potassium carbonate by Solvay process. What is the reason? Because potassium bicarbonate has high solubility product, so it remains soluble and it does not get precipitated out. Now this completes group 1 elements, and now we move on to the group 2 elements, that is alkaline earth metals. Now when we talk about alkaline earth metals, alkaline earth metals are beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium and barium and radium. Radium is radioactive. Now when we talk about beryllium, these elements, what is the general electronic configuration? It is Ns2, and since they have two electrons, so they can show oxidation state +2. Now if I have to compare the atomic radius of alkali metals and alkaline earth metals, as we move from left to right, the effective nuclear charge increases, therefore atomic radius decreases. That means alkaline earth metals are smaller than alkali metals. And when I say that they are smaller than alkali metals, what do I conclude about the ionization enthalpy? Ionization enthalpy of alkaline earth metals is higher as compared to alkali metals. Their ionization enthalpy is higher. Now if their ionization enthalpy is higher, then why do they form M2 plus ion? Why are they actually forming M2 plus ion? They should not form M2 plus ion, they should only form M plus ion. Now what is the reason? Although second ionization enthalpy is high, but still they are forming M2 plus ion, because in solid state high lattice enthalpy compensates the high ionization enthalpy, so they form a M2 plus ion. And what about in aqueous phase? The high hydration enthalpy, He is hydration enthalpy, compensates the high ionization enthalpy. तो सॉलिड स्टेट में लैटिस एंथैल्पी कॉम्पनसेट कर रही है, एक्वस फेज में हाइड्रेशन एंथैल्पी इज कॉम्पनसेटिंग, दैट इज व्हाई दे फॉर्म M2 plus ions. Now let us talk about the metallic character of alkali metals and alkaline earth metals. Now which will lose electron more easily? Obviously alkali metal, because of its large size, low ionization energy, is going to lose electron more easily as compared to alkaline earth metals. Therefore alkali metals are more metallic than alkaline earth metals. Now, if we want to compare the basicity of hydroxide of alkali metal and alkaline earth metal, so if I want to compare whether sodium hydroxide is more basic or magnesium hydroxide is more basic, so I will see that which is more metallic. Obviously, sodium is more metallic, so sodium hydroxide is more basic than magnesium hydroxide, because more the metallic character, more is the basicity. Now, let me compare the solubility of hydroxides. Let me understand what happens as I move down the group, what will happen to the solubility of these hydroxides. So, when I talk about beryllium hydroxide, magnesium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide, strontium and barium. Now, down the group, what is happening? The size of ion is increasing. The size of ion is increasing, that means what is happening? Hydration enthalpy is decreasing because size of ion is increasing. And what is happening to the lattice enthalpy? Lattice enthalpy is also decreasing. But so what is happening? Lattice enthalpy is decreasing, hydration enthalpy is also decreasing. So lattice enthalpy की decrease is more than the decrease of this hydration enthalpy. So that means solubility is going to increase. Solubility increases. Now we have beryllium carbonate, magnesium carbonate, calcium carbonate, strontium carbonate and barium carbonate. And we also have, let us talk about the sulfates. We have beryllium sulfate, magnesium sulfate, calcium sulfate, strontium sulfate and barium sulfate. Now, if we look at carbonate ion and sulfate ion, they are very big in size. So, lattice enthalpy will not play any role here. So, what will play the role? Only hydration enthalpy is going to play the role. Now, what is happening to the hydration enthalpy down the group? Hydration enthalpy is decreasing down the group. It is decreasing down the group. So, if hydration enthalpy decreases down the group, what will happen? The solubility will decrease, because if hydration enthalpy is high, solubility is high, and if it is low, solubility is low. Lattice enthalpy is not playing any role here because the size of an ion is very big. So, it is not going to affect the solubility. So, that means solubility ko kya ho raha hai? The solubility is also decreasing down the group. Why it is decreasing down the group? Because hydration enthalpy is also decreasing. What was happening in case of hydroxides? Lattice enthalpy was playing a role higher than the hydration enthalpy. So, down the group lattice enthalpy was decreasing and therefore solubility was increasing. But here hydration enthalpy is decreasing, therefore solubility is also decreasing down the group. तो सबसे ज़्यादा किसकी solubility है? So that means beryllium carbonate की solubility जो है वो सबसे ज़्यादा है. Let us understand about quicklime. What is quicklime? It is calcium oxide. Now what happens when you react this quicklime with water? What do you get? You get calcium hydroxide. What is this calcium hydroxide? It's known as slaked lime. And what happens when you pass carbon dioxide through it? You get CaCO3, which we say that milkiness has appeared. Milkiness has appeared, and what happens when we pass excess of carbon dioxide to it, we say that milkiness has disappeared due to the formation of this soluble calcium bicarbonate. So, we say milkiness disappears. Now, what happens when we pass chlorine gas through this calcium hydroxide plus Cl2 gives CaOCl2. What is this CaOCl2? This CaOCl2 is bleaching powder. So, bleaching powder is obtained when we pass chlorine gas through calcium hydroxide. Now, let us understand what is plaster of Paris and what is gypsum. Now, gypsum is calcium sulphate dihydrate. When we heat it at 393 Kelvin, we get calcium sulphate hemihydrate, which is plaster of Paris. And what happens when we heat it above 393 Kelvin, we get dead burnt plaster. You have understood all the concepts of S block elements, all the trends, all the properties. Questions related to these concepts are given in your module. So, now you would be able to solve all these questions. Thank you. God bless you.